I think my first Cantonese word was ofanale.
Like ofanale?
Yeah. I think my first Cantonese word was ofanale, and I didn't know what it was, but it was like when we were all living at the dormitory during college at the time. And then Yaz would always say, ofanale, and I'm like, me and my guy friend, we would just be like, she's like, ofanale again. Don't know how to pronounce it.
Outcasts.
Wow. What did you dream of?
I dreamt of touching like a baby whale.
Oh my God.
I was so happy.
I was like, touching what? A baby whale. So cute. Aww. Yeah. That's a nice dream. I feel like all my dreams are like my boyfriend cheating on me, and it's just like, the ones that I remember to heart.
Yeah. So today we have a special guest. She's a friend of mine, and I've been friends since college until now. We both graduated already. She's Asian born in America, and she's Japanese Korean. And she'll talk more about herself. We talk so much about like our perspective and our experiences here as Asians born in Asia, right? Mm-hmm. And now we're gonna interview someone who is actually born in America as Asian American, and what it's like for her.
I feel like we get like confused as Asian American. Well, I mean, we don't.
Yeah, because that's what I'm saying. We're like the fake Asian American, because we're not born in America, but we're Asians living in America.
That's literally why we named our podcast Outcasts, because we have no category. We can't be. No, we're miscellaneous.
It's just scraps.
It's just scraps. Hello.
This is Joohee.
Good morning.
This is Haji.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
You can tell us about yourself. You can introduce yourself.
Sure,
I know that's always a hard question.
No, I love self-introduction.
Okay.
Hi everyone. My name is Joohee. I am a 24-year-old Asian American living in Stratford, Connecticut, and recently just passed my board exams to be a nurse. So thank you.
It was a rough journey for her to get there.
Your parents must be proud.
Oh, so proud. It's kind of crazy because like I think Asian parents, especially like immigrant parents, they're always like, you have to be this, you have to be that. It's not only for me, but like for my parents, you know what I'm saying? It's like they're happy as well. So they're good with it. Yeah.
I heard that you have tattoos too.
Oh yeah. No, I want more. I saw that you have tattoos. I have one tiny one here.
Oh, so cute.
I know, but I like to joke that it kind of looks like clams.
Oh my
God! It's supposed to be baby's breath, but it turned out to be clams. I got this when I was in Canada with a bunch of like girlfriends. We were just like going out, and then I said like, "F it, might as well just get a tattoo." And then I have something small like this one.
Oh, that's cute.
It's very small. It's 1966, and it's dedicated to my parents' birth year.
Oh, I was gonna ask, like, how did your parents react to it?
Oh, they hated it. They absolutely hated it. It's so funny how like Asian parents are just like, just don't get any ink on your body. It's just bad. And it's just a traditional view, right? It's just the traditional views of just like, it's related to like the mafia or like samurai and stuff like that. But I think they're great. Like, and because I'm finally like able to have like a salary through my career, I'm gonna get more, and no one's gonna stop me.
Wait, so you have to tell us, how did it happen, or like when you get home, and what was it like with you and your parents when they saw it? So my first tattoo, I was like, I'm not gonna say anything. I'm just gonna hide it. Like, I'm just gonna be quiet. I wore long sleeve for the longest time. Like during the summer, I just like wore a sweater and I was dying. And then like one day, like I just like rolled up my sleeve, and then my mom was like, you know how sometimes like Asians have like those bug-eyed reactions? They're like, wait, hold on. Yeah.
Like, oh my God.
Like bug-eyed reaction. They're like, what is that? And then like,
did she try scratching it?
No. Did she do that for you?
Like I woke up to her just scratching my ankle, and then she was like, is this real? Is this real? And I'm like, Mom, no, it's not. It's just temporary. It's like, if it's not real, then wash it right now. And I'm like, Mom, stop. And it's
That's
just
so funny. Did you when did you get your first tattoo?
17 with my best friend.
17.
Yeah, with my best
Wow,
friend. She
that's
turned
pretty
18
young.
already, but then I was like, oh, I want to do it with you too. And then, yeah, but that one I hid it. And my mom didn't even tell my dad because my dad is Muslim, so he would have.
Oh,
And
yeah.
so my second one was like a bigger one on my back. That one I only did it after I got a job, like just like you, like I'm making sure
Yeah,
I'm
making
like
money.
if I do get yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's like actually insane because it's like I think parents are like that. They're just like, what are you doing to yourself? You're like mutilating your body.
Yeah.
But I really liked it. I mean, they had to get over this one real quick because they just didn't like it. But like this one, the 1966 one, I got it. And they're like, I thought they would be happy. They would be like, oh, you dedicated this year for us on your body. They're like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, this is not cute. Like you like showing this, if this is how much you think the shows you love, it's not. You're wrong.
Yeah.
It's so funny because like even though I may look like mean with the sleeve, I'm like the most sensitive bitch out there. So it's like it can be so funny.
Since you're like our first Asian American on here, I want to ask,
Oh,
like,
really?
how was school like growing up?
You know, I feel like I'm not the best Asian American to like talk
Why?
about these things just because like I grew up in a community where like it's a very conservative community, but surprisingly there was always like
Other
other Asian people like coming and going, not necessarily Asian Americans. There was always like an Asian community that would come and go in my school, like my middle school, and then my high school there was a couple of Asians too, so I didn't necessarily feel alone, and I think that's really rare for a lot of Asian Americans. Like when I talk to like people who grew up in Connecticut, they always had a terrible experience growing up because there was no one like them.
Because they're
Or,
in like local schools with like a mix.
Yeah,
of...
like in public schools and stuff. So I mean, for me, I was in a private middle school and high school, but there was always some kind of Asian around, which I'm very grateful for. But it's so funny because you would think, I mean, it would be the international students that would like come and go that were like Asian, not necessarily Asian Americans, but when they would be gone and it would just be like me as the only Asian American, like, you know how sometimes in movies or just like people's testimonies, they're always like, yeah, I brought like an Asian lunch and then everyone made fun of me. It was the total opposite for me. Like they're like, oh my God, I want your lunch. Like your lunch looks so good. And
wow.
Yeah, it would be the opposite for me. And
So nice.
I would always trade in my lunch with this other boy because he had a hot pocket. And like I would want the all-American lunch. So I would be like, I'll trade you this homemade delicious lunch my mom made for this microwavable hot pocket because I want it. So like we would trade lunches sometime from time, and he would enjoy my mom's lunch, and then I would just enjoy his hot pocket because my mom would never like buy.
That's so cute.
I love that. Oh.
Yeah, so like I feel like those situations are very rare because like you know, kids are bullies, man. Like kids want to be mean and they'll always say the truth. But I think when in middle school, I was very lucky.
That's the thing with America, it's like huge, and so it's
it really
state by state also is different, right?
It's different per community as well. Because like if you grew up like in Chinatown and everything there is Chinese, school is Chinese, then you know maybe they experience similar to what you experience.
Yeah, when I went to Chinatown, I was like, oh my God, this is like, you know, everything is like like the signs are Chinese, and I was just like, what? This is like a whole street of like Chinese.
It's your guys's no wait, your guys are from Macau. I can't say that. I would say your people, because sometimes when I'm with Iasmin, like on the street, I remember in the subway, like this Chinese, I think person or Cantonese person came up to us, and then I like forget that she can speak, right? That language. So I'm like, oh, sorry, we don't speak. And then she just busts it down, like right next to me, like telling her where to go. Like, you know, this way we don't really know the direction, but maybe if you go this way, I'm like, I just look at her and I'm like, Oh yeah, I forgot.
Oh my god!
I mean, it was a
Yeah.
coincidence that he was speaking Cantonese too. I
Yeah,
was like, wait, I understand
Cantonese.
this.
Yeah,
so
it was very
cool.
rare. So it was really cool to see. I think my first Cantonese word was Ofanale. Like,
finally!
yeah. I think my first Cantonese word was Ofanale, and I didn't know what it was, but it was like when we were all living at the dormitory during college at the time. And then Yaz would always say, Ofanale, and I'm like, me and my guy friend, we would just be like, she's like, Ofanale again. I don't know how to pronounce it. I'm pretty sure she's explained what it like means, but I don't. To this day, I don't remember what it means.
But I mean, you use it in the right context though, even if you don't know what it means. Like,
But is it like, oh my God? Is it like, oh my God? Like,
it's
is it
like you're so
annoying.
oh, okay. Yeah, I use it in the right context then.
You do, like you use it in the right moment too.
Yeah, it'd be like
Good.
random.
That's
Yeah.
so good.
So that's the only word I know in Cantonese.
Well, you know what? For us going to school, in Macau, Asia, it's like we have to wear uniforms, and always watching like American movies. I'm like, oh my god, it's so cool when you're not wearing uniforms. How is that like though?
It depends which school you go to. A lot of the times,
it's true. Private schools
you know what?
are
I think high school is when you don't necessarily have to wear uniforms unless you go into a private school. But mine was like a green shirt and khaki pants, and it was just easy. And I feel like,
easy,
yeah, I would rather wear a uniform than like try to pick an outfit.
I think that's the
other
good
day.
part about wearing uniform. You don't have to think of an outfit every single morning, especially when you don't want to go to school.
Only when I got to uni, I was like, oh my god, like what am I gonna wear tomorrow? It's like,
right,
I
you
was
have
to
to,
look fat. It's like I don't want to. Yeah.
But before that, it was like a huge thing. Like after you graduate, you're like so excited to go to college because you don't have to wear a uniform.
I immediately pierced my nose and like dyed my hair.
I really want to do that. I can't wait to pierce my nose. I want to do so many things. Now I'm out of college, so it's great.
Go crazy, girl.
I'm definitely gonna go crazy. My parents are gonna have a heart attack, but they can't say nothing.
Do you like ever like when people ask you if you feel like more American or Asian, do you have an answer for that?
Yeah, I guess so. I think there's a lot of Asian Americans like me who don't necessarily know the language or are connected to culture. Like it's
right. No, but
sad
then
to
there's
say.
also things where your family does or you do that's like not American, right? So like it's very mixed.
It's mixed, but also not, because like I'm like starting to learn that like growing up, my parents, sure, we would celebrate like some kind of Asian New Year or celebrate something specifically towards their culture, but it wasn't pushed as a kid. So like kind of growing up, seeing other Asian Americans being able to speak their language or being able to experience the holidays that they did, it was kind of like I wouldn't say I was jealous, but I was like, oh, I wonder like why my parents don't do that. Yeah. Because once they immigrated to the United States, they were just like, okay, I'm American.
Oh, trying to fit in,
adapt,
more, right?
Yeah. My mom's Japanese, my dad's Korean, and I don't think they necessarily wanted to push that, but like in their mind, they wanted to adapt to this country as well. Yeah.
Hold up. No, so you're saying that your lunchbox was Japanese food?
Girl, my lunchbox was fire.
I can imagine. Oh my god.
Yeah, that's why everyone was jealous, bro.
I would be too.
So, I kind of wish that my parents, how do I say it? Not necessarily promoted, but like pushed that. Just because I don't really know a lot of things about my Japanese side or my Korean side in terms of like holidays, or nor do I speak the language fluently. Like I can speak Japanese
fluently.
I can, but it's still very much broken. I understand more. But going back to like the culture aspect, in Japan, like when you turn 20, it's the year of like hatachi, which basically means you're like transitioning to adulthood at age 20. And in Japan, a lot of the times women who turn 20 wear like kimonos and like go out and celebrate, and you see everyone else like wearing kimonos, and it's like a glorious moment. And my grandma, she knew I was like turning 20 here, and she wanted to send a kimono and stuff like that.
Oh.
But like, you know, it's like shipping is just terrible in general.
It's so
International.
expensive.
Yeah,
too.
for no reason. But you know, it's like she has that kind of like heart to be like, okay, yeah, this is a glorious moment. My mom was like, yeah, you're turning 20, which is not bad because I still had a good time at 20. But you know, it's like I think the culture aspect, and I recently went to Japan in November, and then I just like was so exposed to like the culture and what that culture is like in Japan, like respecting your ancestors every morning, or just like, you know, going out.
Yeah, she made it like a super cool reel of like a really aesthetic reel of like a Japanese street and stuff. Yeah.
Like every morning, like I was taking care of my grandma at the time, and every morning we would like put in fresh water or like give like fresh rice to like this shrine in the morning to like respect our ancestors. And I was like, that is actually so cool. Like I never knew that, you know, like those things existed. So like I definitely want to like bring that culture, or like the things I was exposed to during that month, like back home. But those shrines are expensive, girl. Let me tell you, like those
I can
shrines
imagine.
are, like,
I can imagine.
they're so expensive. But you know what? I definitely want it like one day, and like bring that home and keep that as a tradition for myself and maybe like, you know, my future family, because I think it's important.
It's so important,
you know.
Yeah,
like
so
there's some people who don't respect their ancestors or respect their parents, period.
That's true.
So you don't really see people getting beating anymore, you know. When I was a kid, I got the beating. I got
What's like I got a hanger, you know, like with a hanger.
I got the ruler and I got the hand.
My mom picks up whatever is near her. One time she threw a charger at me because I didn't want to go to church because I was too sleepy. But I totally understand about the culture thing. Like, I don't speak fluent Tagalog at all. Like and also like my dad's side, I literally know like one word.
I mean, our whole podcast is not even like from our own ancestors.
We're speaking Cantonese.
We're from exactly, but I mean, we talk a little bit about like being Filipino, so that's kind of connected. But
because my parents are like they're like, we don't want to like mix you up with the language.
Like as an Asian American here, I had the best like time. I had white people wanting my food. Like that's rare. Like. You know what I'm saying? Like white people like, I mean, oh my God, I love your lunch. I'm like, yeah, I know. You must be so jealous.
You know, in that sense, you're kind of like sharing your culture, right? Or educating them, right? Because I feel like a big part of your culture also is like also the way you cook food. It's really good, but it's like very Asian inspired, you know?
Oh yeah, 1000%.
Her food is really good.
I am blessed, to say the least, that I am a person of color. That's all I can say. I am blessed, to say the least, because I just like, I'm so exposed to like so many different cuisine and just like culture, color, music. It's the best. And I wouldn't have it any other way, for sure.
Oh, I do have one question. So, I mean, I don't know if you feel comfortable, but like, you know how Valentine's Day is coming.
Right. All my single people, where you at? Hands up, hands up.
Actually, Chinese has a celebration for Singles Day, which is like 11.
Yeah, it's like, isn't that like White Day or something? Or maybe it's
that's
different.
the day after. But the Singles Day is November 11th. That's where they celebrate like being single.
Are you asking me what I'm doing?
What you're doing, or like I guess your experience dating as an Asian American, or like
in America. Oh my God, there's like so many varieties.
I know. I think being Asian American, you're like, oh man, this is gonna sound so cringy watching this back, but I think like, Asian Americans are kind of desirable people.
Oh my God, that's true. It's like they're like a fetish now, you know? Like,
that's what I heard.
I want Asian women. They're like,
no, I'm telling you, because
true.
I remember like when I went fundraising, when I was a lot younger, and like my friend, when we were fundraising together, she was like half Asian, half Japanese, half Irish. And she'd be like, Joohee, you're Asian. Don't worry. Like, you're like literally a fetish. Like, people will give you money. Don't worry.
So true, though.
But like, I never thought of it that way. But like, now that you think about it, like anime and Japanese culture,
it's all trending right now.
Yeah,
that's true.
Trending in the United States, and they love that.
How do you feel about that? I feel like I'm like half about that. How do you? It's weird to think about.
I mean, if you're just like, if you're coming on to me just because you like anime,
Okay, then that's
I mean, like, that's like, if you love anime, that's great. But like, if you're just coming on to me because like,
because you think
I don't
like
yeah,
true.
because you think like I'm an anime character or like related to
That's
that,
weird.
Yeah.
I think that's a little bit like, listen, I don't judge, but like, I'm gonna say no,
Yeah.
thank you, and a goodbye. You know what I'm
Goodbye.
saying?
Next.
It's like in
Yeah.
Asia, like where I mean Macau, like people like the guys think that if you're a foreigner, you're more open and like
Yeah.
Right.
like open to hook up and stuff. Like oh, the hoi long, they will say, and it's like
Hoi fong.
hoi fong, and
Yeah.
then like but no one would
So
want to
because
date
if-
me because like I have dark skin, and it's just like I always felt like kind of like not pretty growing up. But then like when I came here, and everybody's just like, "Ooh, what are you? You look exotic," you know, and that's when I'm like, I feel I look exotic.
I'm exotic.
Thank you for having me. I know, like, probably I didn't give you guys the answers that you necessarily needed.
No,
Because, like,
we didn't have any needed answers. Any
Okay,
answers.
cool. Yeah. But it's funny because, like, I think when people say, like, share your Asian American experience, some people have it, like, rough. And then some people
Yeah.
have it, like, there's a few percentage that are
And-
like me.
And that's fine too. I think like that's still part of your experience, right?
Yeah.
So
Oh, yeah,
we-
definitely. I think being with Asians, though, honestly, like, made me prone to, like, being able to, like, meet other people who are not
Yeah.
Asian, if that makes
That's
any
what I
sense.
was
Like, it's easy.
Oh, mm-hmm. Yeah. And I was
Sorry, what
also
were you
thinking like you have like two like basically like a lot of types of friends. You have the Asian international and you have the local Americans who are also Asian or not Asian. Like
Yeah.
that kind of gives you, I don't know, I guess.
Access, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, predominantly in college, I had like mostly Hispanic friends, and I was the only Asian person. And then, like, in my dance team at college, I was like majority, everyone was African American. I was the only Asian. So, like, I mean, you learn to adapt, but also it's just like I'm proud of like my ethnicity. You know what I'm saying?
And yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
It's nice because you're Asian, but like you fit in really well with them. You know your vibe with like the African American.
I think
or
I'm
the
just
Latinos.
I just think I'm a extrovert some way. Like it's
true.
easy for me to meet people, and like I think that's like a good trait to have, just because you know you get to experience their culture as well. Which
We're
is great.
adaptable.
Exactly. Yeah.
Thank you so
Thank
much
you,
for your
Joohee.
time.
It was
Thank you guys for
fun.
having me on the podcast.
Really want to
Big
meet you in
fan.
person. You're so cool.
Yeah, one day, and then we could go clubbing. You have to convince Iasmin though.
Yasmin, you have to go.
I would go clubbing. I just won't drink, but I'll be there. I like dancing.
Yeah.
so.
She'll be there.
Yeah. It'll be her bachelorette party that she never had.
Honestly,
Yeah, maybe.
1000%.
Classmate always saying that. Yeah, like oh yeah, can make me choice again.
Oh my god, dude, you have to play that video for like a little bit. Okay, next.